this is really the video for those of you who don't feel like your 2025 started off well, and if you already feel disappointed with yourself, with life, and maybe even the thought of writing New Year's resolutions just feels sickening and makes you want to cry. I really hear you, and I want to acknowledge you and how heartbreaking that state is, and how lonely it feels while everyone around you, everyone online, and people that you see outside are going for their runs, and they are posting on socials every day, and they are having their amazing holidays, and they're ticking things off their bucket list already, and you're not there, and you haven't been for a few years, and you feel like, why have I not got this figured out yet? This is a video for you. It's always so much easier, or almost always so much easier, to speak from the perspective of hindsight than being present for where you're at right now and making sense of it in the moment. So I will be talking to you from the perspective of hindsight of my last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that of when I constantly felt like I wasn't enough, like I wasn't there yet, like I will never be happy, I will never get that because, oh my god, I'm grinding. I also feel like I'm not really doing anything because I'm stalling all the time, I'm procrastinating, I am sabotaging myself, but yet I'm so stressed out and I'm overworking and I'm burnt out and I'm spinning my wheels and I'm getting nowhere. Like, what the hell is going on? Whether it's externally you're spinning your wheels or internally, it doesn't even matter. It's stressful and you're getting nowhere. So I hope this video kind of provides a little bit of a comforting message, as well as kind of sprinkling in some pieces of advice and actual tools you can look into and use to change the course of this year. One of them being a workshop that I created last month. It's actually, I'm going to close it for the year in 2 weeks. So this is part of the reason I wanted to make this video now and not like at the end of January or something, because I want people to know that there's this option available that has already helped quite a few people that have taken this workshop. And so yeah, I'll share about that a little bit in a moment, but let's start from the beginning. Let's start from that feeling, this feeling of some kind of brokenness, wrongness, inadequateness, not enoughness. A lot of that feeling comes from you comparing yourself to others. Okay, because if you imagine right now a world that you live in, not striving to get anywhere constantly, not being in a rat race, not showing off their achievements constantly all the time on Instagram and all these places, and never showing their difficult times, their bad days, the days when they feel like shit and they're not doing anything at all. Like, they don't show those things, right? So imagine a world where none of that exists and everyone is just living their life and everyone is just focused on themselves. I think the reality of our internal feeling about ourselves would be very different as well. Because that comparison, it breeds so much shame and that sense of lack. I really feel like people underestimate it so much. And I have to tell you, especially if you are someone who spends a lot of time on social media, even if you're just mindlessly scrolling, funny videos, blah, 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 time after time you will go past an account that makes you feel a little something in your chest, that little some little disappointment, like, oh, they have what I want and I don't have it. There must be something wrong with me. I'm lazy. Look at me, I'm scrolling, I'm wasting my freaking time, and they've got that thing, and if I worked hard enough, I would get there and I would have this thing by now, but I'm not working hard enough. And so the cycle of shame continues, right? And then you scroll past that because you don't want to feel all of that crap. You scroll past that onto the next post, onto the next reel, and you numb out that painful sensation and until the next time. Because inevitably something else will pop up that will make you feel that sense of inadequacy again. Sense of jealousy. None of these feelings are bad feelings. They're feelings that are pointing you in a direction of your desires. The problem is the meaning that we attach to those feelings. And there's a big difference between those two things, okay? There can be a feeling of jealousy, this raw emotion of jealousy and grief and sorrow and sadness, maybe a bit of anger, and all of these things. They're authentic, raw emotions. There's nothing wrong with them and they're not bad. The brain, however, likes to attach meaning to those emotions, like, oh, I'm feeling this emotion, this thing, I can't maybe even identify what it is. I can't consciously think like, oh, this is sorrow or this is anger, but I'm feeling something. The brain in milliseconds attaches a meaning to it. That feeling means I'm inadequate. That feeling that I'm feeling, it tells me that I am lazy, that I am this bad person, and I don't have these things because I didn't deserve them. So those are the things that, if we get stuck in those loops of thinking of those repetitive things, it's really hard to get out of them. Let this be a reminder that there is nothing wrong with you, and most things that you see on the internet are not complete pictures of people's lives. And sometimes this feeling that we need to do more, maybe not sometimes, maybe often, comes from anxiety. And your body might just be freaking tired, and it might just say, I don't want to be running around like this anymore, like this crazy headless chicken anymore. I don't want to function from anxiety anymore. And this is another point that I was going to make, which really attaches to what I already said in terms of, we attach meaning to things. Whether you consciously realize it or not, or subconsciously or unconsciously, you will be attaching meaning to things. And especially if there is unpleasant things happening again and again and again, our brain will need to cope with it in one way or another. And the most common way in which it copes is by trying to gain control over it. And the way our brains gain control over unpleasant experiences is it creates meaning for it, because then it's more understandable and it's something that we can kind of hold, it's more tangible. And so I want you to notice what meanings you have attached to these feelings that you are experiencing. I need to compose my ADHD brain because I'm jumping from topic to topic now. What was I saying before this? Oh, this is annoying. So there's so many sides to this, and it's hard to kind of make a video to accommodate everyone's specific circumstance, because some of you will be people who have a specific goal in mind, and you've been working hard to accomplish that goal, but it just hasn't happened yet. And this is a very different place to people who don't actually have any specific goals, and they don't realize it, but they have an idea of where they don't want to be, and they're trying not to be there, but they don't understand where they're going. And it's a really scary thing to realize for yourself that this might be you, but the quicker you realize that, the quicker you can move forward. So it's kind of different. There's a different approach to, you know, understanding like where you're at and what your roadblocks are specifically. One important piece when it comes to moving forward in life and not feeling stuck is that piece about knowing where you're going. And there's a few things that you need to check with yourself in regards to that. There's a distinction which I feel most people don't understand. There's a thing called goal, and there's a thing called results or effects from the goal. Okay, and it's so important to know what both of those are for you to have a purposeful direction in life. Because someone's goal might be to run a marathon this year. It might be a resolution. I want to run a marathon. Okay. Your effect or result from that goal is essentially the answer to the question why you're doing it. Okay. What is the purpose? Is it because you are trying to genuinely get into running, for example, and you feel like having this like sporty goal will help you get there? Okay, that's great. Why do you want to be a runner? Okay, well, maybe I want to be a runner because I want to be healthy. Why do you want to be healthy? I want to be healthy because maybe I want to be able to play with my kids when I'm old and not struggle with that. Grandkids even, sorry. Okay, well, why do you want to do that? Because I want to feel fulfilled with my life to the day I die. That is fantastic. Write all those things down. Because if you really feel that and if it really rings true for you, you're going to need to put that on a big piece of paper, that very last point. You're going to need to hang it on your fridge door, and you're going to need to look at it every single morning when you don't want to go for a run. Okay, now the issues come in where you either don't understand your result and your effect at all, like you have a goal and you're like, I actually have no idea why I'm doing it. That's okay, it's subconscious layering, okay? So this exercise that I just kind of gave an example of, the guided you through, is called 7 layers deep. And you can do that with literally anything that you're doing in your life. There's multiple ways you can do this, but the easiest one is just to ask yourself, you know, why do I want this? Or like, what's the benefit of that? What's the benefit of that to me? And so sometimes people find that they don't have an answer to why they're doing the thing that they are doing. And if you don't have that answer, you will never motivate yourself, okay? You might last a little bit or even a long time on willpower. You will burn out. It will be freaking painful. I don't recommend it. Okay, that's one thing, but there's another piece to this which I have encountered last year, which was it set me back a little bit, and I had to like sit down and be like, breathe out and grieve a little bit, and just completely turn things upside down. And that is when you discover that your why is something like, I don't want to disappoint my parent. I don't want to feel depressed because I don't want to kill myself. I am scared of getting this disease. Like, these are reasons, and they are legitimate reasons for your subconscious brain. But the problem with those is that they're all either fear-based or lack-based. And those ones will not bring you happiness in life. They will not bring you fulfillment. When you achieve those goals, if you achieve them, they will not bring you fulfillment. You will achieve them, and maybe for a few days you'll feel happy and content, and then all of a sudden you feel that same sense of lack yet again. So this is what I had last year when I discovered that some of my goals were oriented at multiple of those reasons, and I had to sit and be like, well, what do I do now? I've been orienting a huge goal of my life at part of the reason was not disappointing my parent, or not feeling rather like a disappointment in the eyes of my parent. I don't know how they actually feel, right? And whether they feel like I'm a disappointment or not. But in myself, I thought I was a disappointment if I didn't accomplish that. And I realized I had no other compass as to where to aim and how to move from there. And this actually brings me to the last point I was going to make, but I'm going to make it now. And that is a huge piece to any of this problem that you're having, with not being able to move forward in life, feeling stuck, procrastinating, maybe not knowing what your goals are, maybe not knowing what your results are, like why you're trying to achieve those goals. Any of it will have, and all of it, will have an emotional component to it. And the best way to work through all of it, if you've been stuck for a long time, like it clearly means that you've been doing something wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with you, but your actions have not been aligned to get you to where you want to be, or to get you to be happy, in simple terms. What will help with that is immense amount of self-regulation, learning to self-soothe, self-regulate, in order to be able to be with the disappointment and the shame and the grief and the anger and all of those yucky experiences. To be able to move forward, we need to have the resilience, build the resilience to be with everything that has happened to us as it comes up. Okay, you don't necessarily have to go and dig stuff up that isn't presenting itself already, but if you're already experiencing that disappointment and shame around where you are in life and how everyone else is progressing and you're not, it's going to have its roots somewhere, and you need to have some buffer in you to be able to hold all of that. Learning somatic tools and experiencing regulation is essential for all of it. If you've been struggling with like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, constantly pushing along, and clearly if you're watching this, you're clearly still not there, right? Whatever there is, maybe you need to stop pushing. Maybe you need to stop. Actually, I like to say it this way. A lot of people, they're trying to make the river flow. They're trying to take the bucket and use it to make the water go along the stream. But it's like, it can already flow without any effort. What you need to do is take out all the debris and the rocks and whatever there is, mud, weeds. Take it all out, all the stuff that's preventing the natural organic flow. That's going to be yucky, but it's a skill that you will have for life. And as a result of taking all that yucky stuff out, the river will flow. One really cool trick that I've learned, especially if you have ADHD, it really helped me with my day, because I love, as many ADHDers, I love organizing and planning. I love planning and writing things out of how I'm gonna have my day laid out. And then oftentimes, almost as if the universe is trying to force me to unlearn planning. Oftentimes my plans don't go to plan. I maybe wake up too late, or something cancels, or I feel unwell because I have chronic pain. It used to make me feel so debilitated, because I would feel like, well, this thing that I planned is like, the day is done now, that's it, it's gone. I am not accomplished today. I may as well go to sleep and wake up and just start tomorrow again. And I think people take the same approach to their year almost. This trick that I've learned is essentially to So let's take the day first, and then we can apply it to the whole year. Think of it as think of the day in terms of different parts. Like, for example, for me, it worked to think of it in quadrants. So let's say from 9 till 12 in the morning, then 12 till 3, 3 till 6, and then 6 till 9 p.m. Let's say I had like 3 things planned for between 9 and 6 p.m. Old me would say, well, now I woke up at 11 a.m. I can't do any of it now. I'm feeling really deflated. Everything goes to bits. When your day is in quadrants, what you're saying is, okay, this quadrant, can't do much about it anymore, like it's gone, right? Next quadrant, what am I doing in the next quadrant? I'm going to start with whatever things I need to prioritize and do either the things that maybe I have missed in the first quadrant instead, or I'll just stick with whatever I have already planned for the second quadrant. And then if I have some time left over, I can catch up on those other things. Okay, you can kind of work around it in a way that works for you, but just mentally breaking it down into these quadrants. Like, I can't tell you so many days when my whole entire day would go to waste. I don't remember why that would have happened. And that mentality of quadrants would be like, okay, well, do you know what? I've still got one more quadrant. And you can have another one, like if you're go to sleep really late, you can have another quadrant between 9 and 12 at night, and maybe even 12 till 3 a.m, like whatever works for you. And you can say, and I'm telling you, I had days when I literally 5 p.m. I've done nothing, and then I'd be like, okay, I've got one more quadrant left when I can be productive. And I would do so much in that one quadrant that by the time it's 9 p.m, I actually feel like my day wasn't wasted. I feel fulfilled. I actually feel okay. I feel like, well, okay, this day was actually somewhat good. Whereas before, I wouldn't have put any effort in, and I would have gone to sleep feeling disappointed and shamed. So this is one kind of little tip, if you like, that you can integrate into your life. But just remember that no amount of tips and tricks will create a long-lasting healing effect on you, on your life, on how you feel about yourself. Because especially if you're a woman, you can't function every single day with the same energy and the same level of productivity as much as this world requires this of us. I think this is changing now. To learn to give yourself grace and move through life with that sense of resilience, from building that capacity, from building sense of safety in your body, that can move you, rather than that willpower that is a very, very, very harsh masculine kind of energy, I think. That honestly, even for men, I don't think it works 100% of the time. I think for every single human being, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman, you need to understand why you're doing what you're doing. Find meaning in what you're doing, or create one. And if positive meaning is foreign to you, like it was to me, when I discovered that everything I do is from a place of, again, lack and fear, you practice creating a different meaning and trying it on and feeling how it feels in your body to associate with that feeling. And if there's resistance, you can go and work with it. Okay, well, now I can see my limiting belief. Okay, so maybe I can work with that. Great. Now I'll tell you a little bit about Neurographica. If you want a kind of a more in-depth video, a little bit more details about it, then have a look at my video on my channel, I think 2 videos ago. It will have Neurographica written on the thumbnail, or just follow the link in the description to the workshop. You can read more about the workshop specifically. Yes, Neurographica is, for me, it was a life-changing method. I first started just drawing with another instructor and just doing her courses, and the changes that I would see sometimes were imminent, literally within a day or 2 days. I would see manifestations appear from the drawing, and I knew that it was from the drawing. Couldn't have been from anything else. And sometimes they would take a year, like the example I gave in the video before. So do go check it out a little if you're interested in this. And some of them still haven't manifested. Neurographica is not a tool for, like, a magic tool for manifestation of any kind. Neurographica is a scientific methodology. It's a form of art, but it is not art therapy. It's actually a form of coaching. And I am a specialist in this modality. This workshop that I've put together is essentially to help you get unstuck and set intentions for this year and get inspired, get those juices flowing, and get that mud and that debris moving in the river, so that things can start flowing. It can really help with that, especially because we're using an archetype of a tree in the drawing, which is a very powerful forward moving energy, upward moving energy, which creates a lot of movement in our lives, which can help all that stuckness to start to shift, and we can physically feel it in the process. Of course, it depends on how frozen and shut down you are right now, but to be fair, I have drawn it in some. It actually helped me sometimes when I've learned the skill of Neurographica. It was the only thing that helped me when I couldn't access a therapist, when I couldn't sit with my own emotions. The black marker on a piece of paper and the process of Neurographica was the only thing that was able to hold me in that moment, that was supportive and just helped me through some really difficult times. So I highly recommend it for anyone. I also sometimes say, it's especially great for people who struggle with letting go of control. And you don't need to be a creative person. I had some amazing reviews come through from people who have done the workshop. Yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for those who have trusted the process and tried it and loved it. It's heartwarming, and I'm just so pleased that I'm able to offer this to people. So I do hope you check it out. At least just read what it says on the front page, just so you familiarize yourself with the method. To know that it's available out there, even if you don't end up doing the workshop. And as I said, it will close in about 2 weeks, I think about 4th of February. It depends though, if I get a lot more interest, maybe from this video or otherwise, I might prolong the access maybe till the end of February. But I'm definitely not planning on keeping it open for much longer than that at all. In fact, I'm definitely not going to keep it open for longer than February. For multiple reasons, and might reopen it next year for 2026, but whilst it's available, and if you're feeling like you need a little bit of help, a little bit of something to just get you going, if you're just in the trenches or you're just really depressed, sad, it's great to move you out of that state. So do check it out. It's pre-recorded as well, so you can do it at your own pace. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say for today. And yes, just remember that it's normal to feel heartbroken about this. It's normal to make meaning about all of this that isn't exactly a positive meaning. It's normal, but it's not true. And there is nothing wrong with you for being in a stage of your life where you are. One last piece that I can add to this is that, and this is something that Shelina Ayana, who's the founder of Rising Woman, she talks about it in reference to relationships, but I think it's relevant to other aspects of our life. Sometimes the timeline piece is not up to us. When something happens, it's not up to us. And honestly, I've seen that so much in my own life, where I've tried to push things for them to happen quicker, and I was not ready. My nervous system was not ready, my psyche wasn't ready, my life wasn't ready for the changes that I wanted to happen then and there. And It is a practice of learning patience, which can be really difficult when you are in that state, which is why regulation, nervous system work, and that sense of safety in your body are crucial parts. Check out the workshop in Neurographica, and I hope to see you there, or otherwise I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, guys.